What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao, bringing you the latest news from Taipei. Taiwan is asking the U.S. to add it to the group of countries that Washington licenses and produces weapons with. This request comes at the end of the 23rd U.S.-Taiwan Defense Industry Conference being held in Philadelphia. Reese Ayers is live with us in Taipei with more on what Taiwan is asking for. Reese, what would deeper integration into the U.S. defense supply chain mean for Taiwan?
Well, Eric, it would mean a new level of security and defense potential for Taiwan, who currently relies solely on the U.S. for all of its arms and weapons sales. Inclusion into that list of nations who cooperate with the U.S. on weapons development could give Taipei a chance to break through other countries' restrictions on selling arms to Taiwan, opening up the chance for Taiwan to diversify its defense portfolio. Now, Taiwan's Deputy Defense Minister Xu Yanpu was at the conference, and he said that a deeper arms collaboration with the U.S. could also send a strong message to China not to recklessly go to war with Taiwan, adding that the U.S. letting Taiwan join in on these productions could allow Taiwan to contribute to the production of fighter jets and drones, which would help Washington to expand its exports to other allies. Taipei City Councillor Vincent Zhao was also at the conference, saying that Taiwan will struggle to strengthen its defense capabilities if it needs to continue to rely just on the U.S. for its weapons sales. American think tank Cato Institute recently reported that the U.S. has a pretty big backlog of weapons deliveries to Taiwan, including some F-16V fighter jets worth over $20 billion. Taiwan has been consistently upping its defense budget over the past years, with that budget expected to go up to 2.45% of the GDP next year. With China's shadow ever looming over Taiwan, it's increased international cooperation that could prove to be Taiwan's best line of defense.
Thanks for that update, Reese. That was Reese Ayers reporting live from Taipei. Meanwhile, Taiwan and the U.S., they are looking to cooperate on the drone front with the goal of establishing a China-free supply chain. Now, executives from U.S. drone companies have been in Taiwan this week, meeting with high-ranking military officials and with local drone makers. Joyce Sun has been following these meetings for us. Joyce, what do we know about these visits?
Hi, Eric, that's right. A delegation of 26 U.S. drone and anti-drone companies are wrapping up their 4-day visit to Taiwan, a new milestone on a business, but also a national security level to work together on this technology. This is key dual-use technology that's proven its worth in military use for countries defending themselves against a larger enemy. We've seen them being used in Ukraine, and for Taiwan, in the face of China's military coercion, drones are an important part of its security plans. Taiwan's Defense Minister Wellington Koo called this visit by U.S. drone makers Taiwan's chance to become a part of the U.S. supply chain and co-produce drones. The defense analysts in Taipei also say the fact that the U.S. is willing to collaborate with Taiwan on this particular technology is a major vote of confidence in their relations, despite them being unofficial.
因为这些无人机或者是说这些国防的产业 industry， 它通常被界定成是一个 sensitive technology 敏感科技，所以只有双方有这个互信，才会让这些国防产业有合作。这一次来的是美国的商务部，也就是 Department of Trade， 那等于是政府带领26个厂商过来，那象征双方已经要变成一个真正的 partner。
Now, the biggest obstacle for Taiwanese drone makers will be governance. Taiwan's strength in innovation comes from its small and medium-sized businesses, and now they will have the challenge of globalizing and also complying to the rules and regulations that the U.S. expects its defense giants to follow, which might not be so quick or easy to pull off. Eric?
Right, so still several challenges remaining there. Thank you, Joyce. That was Joyce Sun, live for us in Taipei. The Lebanese militant group Hezbollah has confirmed that a senior leader has been killed in an Israeli strike on Beirut. Ibrahim Muhammad Kobaisi was commander of Hezbollah's missile and rocket force. Israel is continuing to pound Lebanon in a bombing offensive, saying it's targeting Hezbollah weapon sites. Lebanon's health ministry says the death toll from the bombardment has reached over 550 people, including 50 children. Thousands of people are injured, and tens of thousands have been forced to flee southern Lebanon. The conflict in Lebanon and the war in Gaza have been the main focus on the first day of the UN General Assembly in New York. Rosie Granger has the latest.
As world leaders take the stage at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, they're all sharing the same message. There needs to be de-escalation in the Middle East.
Fanatics believe that military power can end this conflict. This is a delusion.
Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza and their recent escalation of violence in Lebanon against Hezbollah dominated the first day of the UN Assembly, amid fears of an all-out war in the region. US President Joe Biden defended Israel's rights to defend itself after Hamas attacked the country on October 7th, killing more than 1,200 people and taking more than 250 hostages.
Mr. President, can you confirm your...
After failing to secure a release deal for those hostages and a ceasefire agreement over the past 11 months, Biden continued to call for a diplomatic solution.
Full-scale war is not in anyone's interest. Even if the situation has escalated, a diplomatic solution is still possible. In fact, it remains the only path to lasting security to allow the residents from both countries to return to their homes and the border safely. And that's what we're working tirelessly to achieve.
A raft of countries took aim at Israel's action in Gaza, with the leaders of Jordan, Turkey, Qatar, Colombia and South Africa among the strongest voices in condemning its relentless war, which has claimed the lives of at least 40,000 people. Qatar's emir said those still defending Israel's rights to defend itself in the war were complicit, while Turkey likened Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to German dictator Adolf Hitler.
Buradan bir kez daha canları pahasına vatanlarını savunan Filistinli kardeşlerimi yürekten selamlıyorum. İsrail'in Filistin halkına yönelik saldırganlığının tek nedeni bir avuç ülkenin İsrail'e olan kayıtsız şartsız desteğidir.
With Israel now also fighting Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, Israel's UN ambassador told the Assembly his country is open to ideas for de-escalation of that conflict, while other world leaders denounced their bombing assault, which has already claimed the lives of over 550 people.
We must all condemn this act on the part of Israelis with fullest force, because this is nothing but to expand this war beyond Middle East, which will be very, very serious for this world and have grave consequences.
The Pakistani leader, among others, saying a two-state solution and immediate ceasefire in Gaza is the only option to avoid such consequences. The UN General Assembly will continue for 4 more days, as world leaders discuss pressing international issues, with ending conflict in the Middle East top of the agenda. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. President Biden also called for stability across the Taiwan Strait in his final speech to the UN General Assembly. Biden says the United States needs to manage competition with China while avoiding conflict. He also highlighted the need for continued international cooperation, including U.S. partnerships in the Indo-Pacific.
The United States is unabashed, pushing back against unfair economic competition, against military coercion of other nations in the South China Sea, and maintaining peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits, and protecting our most advanced technologies so they cannot be used against us or any of our partners.
The sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has slammed the U.S. for sending a nuclear submarine to South Korea. According to North Korean state media, Kim Yo Jong says the vessel's arrival in Busan is proof that the U.S. plans to, quote, bring out its nuclear strategic assets. South Korea's Navy says the USS Vermont is in the country to resupply. Kim's comments come after the foreign ministers of the U.S., South Korea, and Japan held talks in New York City on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. A mysterious, deadly mass poisoning case is partly solved, as new tests show the food that the victims shared was tainted with pesticide. The question now is how the pesticide got in the food and whether it was put there on purpose. John Van Trieste reports.
This poisoned meal has killed 3 people. 2 people who ate it are still in intensive care more than a week on. Relatives of victims who have gotten better are relieved, but they also want answers. At first, suspicion was on the snails used as a filling in these avai, a millet dumpling popular in some indigenous areas of Taiwan, including this corner of the southeast. But test results released Tuesday, both from the victims and from the millet used, show a pesticide is to blame.
有11个个案有送检，那血液跟尿液呢，都有检出到这个托福松的这个浓度。那12名个案当中有1位是因为他是已经死亡，然后在医院当中没有留存他先前的检体，所以我们就没有办法替这位送院。
But how did the pesticide end up in the food? The 83-year-old woman who made the dumplings was the first to eat them and died that same day. The rest of the victims ate the leftovers from her kitchen, including the dumplings, while mourning her death that evening. Was there some kind of mistake? Or did the woman poison her food on purpose? Police are taking the second possibility seriously. It's a mystery that has shocked this rural community and gripped the whole country. Ryan Wu, Fu Hua Huang, and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
When a fisher caught a valuable type of sea snail off Taiwan's northeast coast, a buyer paid him to put it back. As Cadence Quaranta reports, this case has brought new attention to the controversial practice of bottom trawling.
Off Taiwan's northeast coast, a rare find. This sea snail, called the dragon palace shell in Chinese, lives primarily in the western Pacific. This individual was 20 centimeters in diameter. Belonging to a family of species dating back millions of years, it's valuable to the study of mollusk evolution. A number of would-be buyers offered large sums of money for the snail, but the fisher who caught it chose to sell it to someone who wanted it returned to where it was found. Although the snail is back where it came from, thanks to an unusually generous benefactor, some are concerned about how it was caught in the first place. The fisher used a method of fishing called trawling, where a boat drags a net through the water and catches anything it sweeps up. Some environmental groups in Taiwan say trawling should be banned because it's indiscriminate in what it catches and is harmful to biodiversity. Currently, there are limits on where fishers can trawl, but there's never been an all-out ban. Those who oppose a ban say it would hurt fishers' livelihoods.
目前最主要是现在，渔民已经在有些从事渔捞化，已经在做相关的一个抵托事业，避免说直接进化造成他们的生计的影响。
The debate over trawling is happening not just in Taiwan, but all over the world. Calls to ban bottom trawling are growing across the globe as countries try to find ways to protect their marine habitats. And while this sea snail got lucky, there aren't enough benefactors in the world to pay fishers to throw back everything they shouldn't have caught. Alex Chen and Cadence Quaranta for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for tuning in this afternoon for What's Up Taiwan. Visit the TaiwanPlus website for more of our news reports and programs. Finally, check out these images from Mexico City, where over 20 bands gathered for a 10-hour mariachi marathon over the weekend. I'm Eric Gao. Take care, and we'll see you next time.